Thank you, I appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee, Community, and Cocktails. I'm your host, Angela McFarland. With me today, I am incredibly honored to have the Executive Director of the Laurel House, Ms. Beth Sturman.
Thanks so much, Angie.
Thank you.
I'm honored to be here.
Oh, great. So I guess the first thing, tell our listeners, our watchers, what is the Laurel House?
Thank you. So Laurel House is a comprehensive domestic violence agency. We serve all of Montgomery County. We have programs that range from direct service and emergency response down to prevention education in middle schools, high schools, and colleges, and pretty much everything in between. We have an emergency safe haven center, a shelter for adults and their kids who are homeless because of domestic violence. They needed to flee their home for safety. Lots of legal services, help with court accompaniment, filing for protection orders, all of the different kinds of supports that a family might need when they're in that kind of crisis.
And you have your headquarters that are here in Norristown
too,
and then confidential location for shelters, correct?
Correct. And out of our headquarters, besides the kind of main administration office, we offer a lot of community counseling. It's free and confidential for folks in the community that maybe don't need a safe place to go, but they're coming out of a relationship that was dangerous and they need help to get through that.
What are some of the statistics that people may be surprised to know?
Statistics can be overwhelming. The CDC says that 1 out of every 4 women in the United States will experience domestic abuse at some point in their lifetime, and that 1 out of every 7 men. We used to really just believe that it was primarily a quote unquote women's issue, but now we know that men can be victims as well. And of course, any children involved in that family are also affected, whether it's because they're also being abused or because they're witnessing the abuse.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And domestic abuse crosses every line. It doesn't matter your economic standing. It doesn't matter your race.
Correct.
Heartbreaking. So you guys are a nonprofit.
We are.
So how do you keep your operations funded?
With people like you, Angie. We are very fortunate that we started as a community-based grassroots organization, and we still have tremendous support all over the county. Everywhere I go, people say, oh, my mother helped us start with this, or my grandfather did the electrical work on your building way back in the day. So we get that kind of support still from folks that help with our wish list items, help with donations, financial contributions. And then we have some private foundation money, and about 1/3 of our budget comes from the state or federal government.
That's amazing. With COVID, did you see an increase in people that needed your services?
We did. At first, people who were living in those kinds of dangerous situations were afraid to leave.
Sure.
And maybe because they were quarantined together, didn't have the ability to reach out and ask for help. But once things started to lift up a bit, what we found was a lot more outreach for help, and also more folks that maybe were in a dangerous situation. They'd gotten out of the situation. Maybe the person that was abusive is incarcerated or just not the picture anymore. But now they're trying to support themselves and their kids without that second adult.
Yeah.
And what we found was that people that never needed to ask us for the help with groceries or diapers or things like that now needed to ask for help.
That's where the items that are on the wish list come into play?
That's correct.
And I think that I was correct when I was advising people as we were collecting for your wish list. The gift cards, the idea behind the gift cards is to really put ownership of their lives back in their hands, correct?
We operate on what we call an empowerment model. So people get to drive their own car, basically. Yeah. Even if they don't have a car, they get to drive their own life.
Right.
And so those gift cards, just like all of us want to pick out things for our own children or for ourselves, those gift cards allow people to pick out maybe a personal care item that's specific to what they're comfortable using.
Sure.
A cereal that they know their child will eat, all the things that, we can help, but when they get to go and pick out what they know their family will use and needs, that really makes a tremendous difference.
Sure. It helps with their self-esteem too, knowing that they were able to go and say, look what mommy picked out for you, or look what daddy picked out for you, whatever the case may be. So, I'm incredibly happy that our March fundraiser for the Laurel House was another success. We had our She 3 Music Festival, which is our third one, and we've already got She 4 and 24 in the works.
Good. You have to tell us the date so we can mark our calendars.
I will.
It's
I
amazing.
will. Yeah. You walked in and I feel like you were overwhelmed. I don't think you knew what to expect.
I had no idea you would get that kind of turnout. It was really heartwarming and it was fun.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah.
good.
Well,
Great.
you know, the first year we did it was that we were still fresh in COVID. So, I don't think Laurel House was allowing anybody to be on site. And then the second year, I think was you still weren't doing in-person events. So you guys just kind of heard about what we were doing, but you got to actually see it. And Erin spent the day here, and just every time I looked at her, she just had this smile on her face.
She was so, when we talked afterwards, because I unfortunately had to leave in the middle to go to another event. But when I talked with Erin afterwards, she's worked for us a long time. I haven't heard her sound that excited ever. It was radiant.
I have to say, I was pretty happy with the turnout. You know, we not only did the community gather and bring in items off of your wish list over the last month, we had, as part of our Kindness Wednesdays with Barista Jake, our project was different housewarming items, so to speak, that we had the students and the volunteers that come in make so that you can give them to the families that are kind of starting over, so that, you know, when they look at it, they know that there's people in the community that are rooting for them, right? So an example of some of the things that we did, I had an encouragement coloring book, and the students colored the pictures, and then we took some different quotes and we framed them, and we had some cards that everybody filled out, and the students from Norristown High School's transition program, as well as Upper Marion's transition program, participated in this, as well as members of the community that came in for coffee. And they, you know, we had a sort of a coffee clutch of women that came in every Wednesday and just made it part of what they did. They were retired women and they wanted to just be a part of it. In addition to bringing in, you know, the canned goods, the diapers, the feminine care products, all of the personal care items. So we got a really great response of wish list items. The gift cards, we presented you with $340 in gift cards. It's a little less than the gift cards we had for you last year, but all in all, I think it's still stupendous. I think we have more actual items, so it comes out in a wash. Yeah, yeah. And then between the sale of our She Festival t-shirts and our portion of the donation from what we did in sales at the cart and cash donations, we were able to present you with a check for $2,000.
That was really, thank you.
I hope that makes a dent. You know, listen, as a nonprofit, as a nonprofit, I understand what it takes to run. And my organization is, you know, just a small fraction of what yours is. But I understand, you know, the expenses that come up. So I hope that it alleviates a little bit, or it can help with a special project. And you've got other fundraisers that are going on as well.
We do.
So talk about those.
So every year for the last 6 or 7 years, we've done a men's walk. Men walk in high heels.
Yep, they'll walk a mile in
her shoes to see what that feels like. And usually the men tell us, I don't know how you guys do this. I don't do it anymore. I can't walk in heels.
I was amazed. You invited us to participate last year and sell coffee, and we donated the coffee, and it was very cool to see so many big burly men walking around. It was freezing that day.
So cold.
Even though it was it was May. It was May, but it happened to be the coldest day in May. It poured. We were underneath the parking garage because it was so cold and rainy, and everybody just kind of walked the loop there. But it was amazing to see all of these grown men walking around in heels. Yeah, it was a fun day. Yeah, it was an informative day, and it was a very emotional day because you had survivors that spoke about what Laurel House meant to them and what their experience was. And, you know, it's important to always know why you're doing what you're doing, right?
Right.
And to keep the people understanding what your mission is. But so we're going to be back there again this
Yeah, we're
year.
excited that
Yeah.
you're going to be back there, and hopefully it won't be cold and rainy.
I
Your
hope so.
coffee and your hot chocolate definitely helped.
It
when
did
was
help.
Cold and rainy.
It did help. That's true. That's true. And then you had, so that's May.
So that's the second Saturday in May, and that's at the Pfizer campus in Collegeville. There's more information on our website.
Okay.
And then in June, we have, back by popular demand, we haven't been able for 3 years to do this. We have drag bingo.
Nice.
And we have performers, we have bingo, obviously. And again, it's a fun way to get awareness out to folks who might not come to a more traditional kind of fundraiser.
Sure.
So that'll be at the Collegeville Electrical Workers Union Hall. That's June 10th. And then
Are you looking for bingo prizes? And
we are always looking for bingo prizes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll give you a basket for
Oh,
free.
thank you. That's
You're
wonderful. That'd be great. And
You should too.
and we're doing, yes, and you should. And there'll be a matinee performance. Bingo sells out really
Oh,
fast.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
So this year, for the first time, we're doing two. And
Oh,
the
nice.
the first one will be an afternoon matinee, and then there'll be an evening opportunity. Those tickets go on sale the third week in May,
Okay.
and they will sell out quickly. So again, if people are interested, check the website
Okay.
and try to get in on the first day of the ticket sales.
And then you have your gala.
Our gala is coming up April 29th, and that's a more traditional fundraiser. It's a dinner dance with silent and live auction and a speaker. We always have a speaker, and it's so fun because I get to listen to people that think, oh, I remember when they first walked in the door, and here they are now years later,
Yeah.
really doing well, and that's always very heartwarming. Again, there's information on our website about that event.
And what's your website?
www.laurel-house. You have to make sure the dash is in there, house.org.
Now, is Marian's Attic is your thrift store?
It is. It's in
Okay.
King of Prussia on Henderson Road, Marion's Attic, and we also have Laurel's Loft up in Lansdale on North Broad Street.
Okay.
Another great way to participate, to help out, shop, donate, come in and pick up information. People can pick up brochures and information about our services and warning signs of abuse and things like that. So they don't even have to go on the website or make a phone call to the hotline. They can just go in and pick up materials.
And can they, so say somebody's cleaning out their closet, can they bring it to them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we take household items and clothing primarily, but certainly other things if people, not big appliances.
Sure.
But small.
And not furniture, I assume.
Small end table or things
Okay.
like that, simple things that could go in a car.
Okay. And if somebody can't make it to King or Prussia or can't make it to Lansdale, you're welcome to drop things off here, and I can drop it off, or Aaron can come and get it, or Beth can come and get it, or Brad. What else is going on? Like what other, is there anything later in the year? Like this is the first couple quarters. What
Actually,
goes on?
yeah, we do fundraisers and awareness. We like to do awareness events that also help to raise money. So
Sure.
we have a 5K in October at Upper Gwinnett Township Park. That's another fun event. And if you're not a runner, you can walk, and you don't have to do the 5K. You can do the 1 mile walk. And there's always great refreshments. We're hoping to have a coffee wagon there again.
I wonder if there's anybody that
Gee,
can
I
do that.
hope we can find somebody. And so that is the third Sunday in October. And then we have a luncheon that's more educational. That's
Sure.
in September. It's called Breaking the Silence, to help break, because this was such a stigma years ago that people just didn't talk about domestic
Absolutely.
abuse. You know, shut the windows, don't let anybody know what's going on. And now that breaking the silence, that effort to get the word out so people don't feel so alone and so ashamed.
Sure.
So those are our 2 fall events. And then we have a fashion show that should be really fun. That's in the end of October.
That's
And we
amazing.
have real life models, not like models.
Like actual people like me and you.
They can't necessarily walk on heels.
That's it. There you go. So there's a lot of great information on their website. There's a lot of opportunity for you to still help the Laurel House. I want to thank everybody that came to our event, that donated to us, through the wish list and the gift cards. And people just came up to me on Saturday or Sunday and said, here's $20, put this towards the donation. And I thought it's so special. And all the women that participated, that sang, this is a program that is so important to them. The guys that were in the backing band were amazing. And it really, it came to us to do it during Women's History Month, right? It being March. However, it has grown so much over the last, now 3 years that we're talking about doing it a little later in the season next year and maybe making it an outdoor event.
We'll have fun because then you'd have more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd have a lot more of
Yeah.
everything. We'd have a lot more of everything. And, so we've got a committee that we're getting together to make plans. And, because this is something that we want to continue to do every year.
Love it.
And like I said, there's already the hashtag She4and24 going around. So yeah. So we're super excited. But there's a million ways that you can help the Laurel House aside from what we do. I want you to still help through what we do, but you can help all year round. And you're always looking for volunteers at these events too, right?
We are, yeah. So all of our events need volunteers.
Yeah. See, so look them up, laurel-house.org.
Laurel-House.
laurel-house.org. Look them up, look at their events. Is there ways for people to donate online as well?
There
Just
are,
cash
yeah.
donations?
There's a donate now button.
Perfect.
We make it easy.
You make it easy. Perfect. So it's definitely something that, we encourage you to do. When you're not donating to Jake's Baristas, donate to the Laurel House or donate.
Do both.
Listen, there's enough to go around, right?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're excited, and we will see you at the Walk a Mile event. All right,
Coffee
with our coffee wagon.
Thanks so much.
All right, take care.
Angie. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.